All right, it's 2:00. Let's ramp this up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know people will continue to pop on, but we've got a good number of attendees already here for the great Betty Gales. Betty has been on before, and I got to tell you, you're one of my favorites that we've ever talked to, Betty. So
thank you. That's great to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my name's Monica Weekly. For those of you that have been on the Espresso Agent Mastery Sessions before, you've seen me. I do the sort of hosting, emceeing, and help us get all kinds of great information that the great folks at Espresso Agent bring you through, tapping into people like Betty Gales and a ton of other incredible leaders in our industry that they're able to get to volunteer their time and come spend, 45 minutes to an hour with you guys. So couple housekeeping notes is just, as I mentioned, we do have everybody on mute. That is not because we don't want to hear from you. So please, please, please use the chat bar. We want this to be interactive. Betty wants this to be interactive. It's hard to not hear the feedback. So as much as you can, I'll be monitoring the chat, and where appropriate, I'll ask the question. If I miss it, it's just because I've let Betty, she's on a roll and we're letting her go, and I'll circle back around to the question if that's okay with you guys. All right, so let's see, what else am I going to, I think that's good for our housekeeping items. So let me get right to it and introduce Betty Gales. She is the one of the owners of Remax Alliance down in South Carolina in Mount Pleasant, which we were just talking about is a suburb of Charleston. And Betty, I know you've been in the business over 25 years. Is it over 30 yet?
Well, I'm not going to say.
Okay, that's what I figured. You're a lady, and I'm not going to ask then. Let's just say that you have enough experience to share with all of us for the next hour, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, and so Betty, doing some coaching as well, part-time. She's doing coaching maybe 50-50, she said, and then she's running a team of 5. And the thing that is notable about Betty is she is an incredible lead gen agent. She is has made a habit out of calling, so she knows that the tool that you guys have, an Espresso Agent, can be the key to your success with consistency. And that's one thing she talks about a lot. What I love is sometimes she has new ways to say the same things that we've all kind of heard 100 different times. And she has a kind of a great approach to the phone, and her style is unique and may interest you. Today we're going to talk about scheduling, accountability, practice, and role play as it pertains to calling expireds, and I guess for sale by owners in general, reaching out proactively with the Espresso Agent tool. So I think these are all really important aspects. We do a lot of scripts and stuff, and maybe, Betty, we can get you to do a little bit of that if we have time. But I think these other things, these like how to schedule your day, how to hold yourself accountable, how to role play, how to sharpen your skills, it's just as important as it is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and we'll talk about in role playing, how to really get good at your script.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to let you share your screen. She has a PowerPoint. This is going to kind of help us along the way. And take it away, Betty.
Here we go. Okay. Oh, good. So you're still going to be here, Monica. Great. So I don't like to talk to the void, but I can't hear you.
I muted myself.
Oh, good.
Instruction. So here I am.
Oh, that's right. So I wanted to talk about 3 things today. I think on the last presentation, we did talk about role play. We talked about scripts, and we did a lot of different scripts. I've been around the industry for over 25 years, closer to 30 years. And I started out working with Mike Ferry, and now I'm a coach for Tom Ferry. And all along, all of these years, I guess, I don't know if it's been 20, from the start of when I just began my career, I started calling expireds. I can remember back when I first started looking, when they had the way that we're used to it now, it's such a breath of fresh air, because you didn't know how to get the numbers. You didn't know what was going on when you saw an expired. But there was a veteran in my office, and every day he would look at the hot sheet, and he would look at what expired in the area that he wanted. And he was always in the upper price point. And he would always call the expired. And that's how he built his business. So I learned early on that that was a great way to do it. And then later on, as I started attending seminars, I always gravitated to the expired listing because it was immediate business. So when I first started, there were probably about 3 people calling expireds. Today, as everybody knows, the competition is just crazy. So like by 9 o'clock, when I used to call, the people are mad. They've already had 40 people call them. And, you know, at many times during this transition that's happened in the last several years, I thought, do I really want to work expireds? It's not the same game. So I thought to myself also, I've been doing this. This has been a great source of income for me. I've loved doing it. I'm good at it. Will I allow the new people that are coming in with the teams, the new telemarketers, the new ISAs to get in my way? And so I made a recommitment to going back into expireds and to go back into what works. And for me, it's been an intuitive thing, because mainly what you want to do with expireds is listen to where they are and get them to drop their defenses. And when they've already gotten 40 calls in the morning, and when people that are calling them, for a lot of the people that are calling are new agents or people that don't know the neighborhood, and the sellers are rightly annoyed. And so like that's what we're dialing into now. Now in some places that's not the case, but I think most places around the country there is a lot of competition. So we've got to go from that, the way it used to be when I could control the market, because I was probably the only one consistently calling back then. And now there are many consistent callers. So that's what we're up against. So what I've found from the start to now is what's important is your schedule and your consistency. So if you allow the negativity to stop you, then you're out of the game. So the people that win the game are the people that will continue on and follow their schedule. So I'm going to roll this slide down right here. 10 reasons to follow a schedule. First of all, it takes a lot of energy to call expired listings. There's a great payoff. They're ready to, you know, and for the most part, they're probably still motivated. We have statistics to tell you out of so many people, how many people are going to relist. And of course, it might be different in each area. But it's not easy to do this. So you want to get this out of the way first. The hardest things to do them first, because it takes energy. So your early morning, people say, well, why should I call early morning? That's when everybody's calling. One is because your energy is great. 2, like you want to be, and I'll talk about this a little bit more. It used to be you wanted to be the first person to call. So now people, you know, I think the law is you're not supposed to call before 8 in the morning. But now people are calling before 8. So if you start calling at 8, they've already had calls. So I was sitting at a Tom Ferry event recently. I was sitting next to this lady that I wanted to speak with because she had just taken 32 expired listings in 1 month. And she had never done this before. Like she'd never done expireds before. And so I wanted to meet her. I thought she's doing something different. Well, guess what? She's not doing anything different. She's just what? Doing it every day, consistently. Wow. She took, on a weekend, she took some crazy amount, 5 listings on one day, because the weekends people aren't working, so there was less competition. Wow. And then on a holiday weekend, she called and she got a whole bunch more then. So we're looking at different ways, not necessarily, and when I asked her something about the being the first person to call, she said, I used to think being the first person to call was the answer. But she said, now I don't think that. What's important is the follow-up, the consistency. Mm-hmm. So we've got things going now in my little team where we do text, video text, an email series, me going talking to them about how I'm an expert in expireds. And we do all of these things, but what's the most important thing still is calling. So it's not like they're going to call you from an email. It's not like they're going to call you from a text and say, come right over. But if they've seen your text and they've seen your emails and you call them, then you might be at the front of the pack.
Makes
so
sense.
It's a mindset. I'm going to do this. There are a lot of people going in and out of this market. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to get rejected and they're going to quit. I am one of the consistent ones. This is the mindset that I want you to have. I am one of the consistent ones. I will do this and I will win because everyone else will give up. Okay?
Right.
So here we are, early morning. Energy and willpower are finite. In other words, you can't battle inspections all day, have all this stuff that goes on with us in real estate, and then all of a sudden start calling expireds and get rejected and have the energy that it takes to move beyond that. So I want your energy good when you're calling.
Mm-hmm.
So here, following the schedule, and I just religiously have always done it in the morning, and I still do. Even if I get rejected, like I call them back later, but I'm still going to call them on the day that it expires, because what I'm trying to do is weed out the ones that are relisting with their mother, or weed out the ones who will never sell, or weed out the ones who say, we were going to sell our house, but our transfer was canceled. I want to get rid of those because I'm trying to find the ones that I'm going to stay on top of. And there are just a few of those.
Okay, let me pause there because I want everybody to, I love this, Betty. This is a mindset shift on the call itself. We always, I think most of us are thinking, we're trying to get that appointment, we're trying to break through, we're trying to say the thing that's going to get a different answer than everyone else has gotten. But if we are looking at this as a marathon and not a sprint, and the step one is just to identify who's real and who's not as a potential opportunity. Is that fair to say?
Fair. And that's what I'm looking for.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what I'm looking for. So I'm at the beginning, I'm weeding them out so I'll know who I'm going to follow. If somebody is super mad, like I have had some people be, cuss me out. Some people say, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tell me why you think you should be the one, just awful things. And I just let them rant and rave and then call them back later. They don't remember who you are anyway.
Right.
A lot of times people are very angry because they're very motivated and very frustrated.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
There was a question here, if you have a second.
Okay.
Let's see, Nick, you didn't mention mailers. Do you mail CMAs, market analysis, or postcards?
Great question. I have a series of 8 postcards that I send out depending on where if the area is, like property that I've sold in a certain area. I do the social proof postcard that I have from Tom Ferry, where we talk about the map of, and you place little pins and where you sold properties, so that then I talk about all the things that the expired would be concerned with, like communication, all the things that I've heard over the years that they are looking for in an agent. And I'll send that postcard series out to the ones that I really am following and really won't. I don't send it out to all of them.
Okay.
And to the motivated ones.
So as a result of your day 1 or day 2 calling, that's triggering the next series of actions, some of which may be postcards, some of which may be follow-up calls, right?
And I am a great delegator, so I don't really do any of that. My assistant does that. We'll talk about that in a minute if you don't have an assistant.
Sure.
How to handle that. Also, postcards go out to somebody that I cannot get in touch with.
Okay.
That I really want the listing. That's another postcard that goes out. So here is the time block. So for me, like I used to call from 9 to 11, and now I will, depend on my coaching schedule, I'll sometimes start like at 8:30, sometimes 8 o'clock. and call the new expireds. I would like to be the first one if I could. And sometimes people will pick up. It's really crazy that, like I say, well, I guess you've had a million calls. And well, no, I haven't, or I was out somewhere. No, I didn't, so it's not like always there's 30 people that have called. Sometimes if you're consistent, you'll catch some person that's just walked in the door for a second if you're consistent. So put a message. If you don't have an assistant, you go into a place where you can be private and you put something on your voicemail to let them know that you will be calling back at whatever time you finish prospecting. And everybody tells me that I coach, oh, well, what if I have an important problem or da-da-da. Well, somebody told me this. I think it was somebody that was that had been in the business a long, long time. She said, there are no emergencies in real estate unless your house is burning down or something.
And then call the firefighter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've always thought about that. And right here, sometimes I am a time urgent person. So I get stressed if there's a problem. Like a problem comes to me, I want to work it out. And I want to work it out that second, right? Well, sometimes that's a detriment because sometimes people get really upset about something and then they think about it and then they call the appropriate person. And by the time you get back with them in an hour, it's worked out. Mm-hmm. Or they call somebody else. So I found that sometimes my time urgency can cause more of a problem. So I don't want to take my time urgency quality away, but I try what I do, and my assistant has to help me with this, and I have to be really careful not to have anything like a cell phone or any place I can go to be distracted. Mm-hmm. And back in the early days when we were learning to call expireds, I would have my people call and go into a booth and they could not take anything with them. No, nothing. Nice. So they wouldn't be distracted and then come out.
Are you looking for a certain number of conversations, or are you looking to just do it for a certain number of hours?
I do not just expired prospecting. So my personal goal is 10 conversations a day. Okay. That's my personal goal. But with expireds, I don't have a specific number that I call. But the way that I do it, I don't have a lot of new expireds every morning, except as everybody knows at the end of the month. So it doesn't take me long to call the new ones.
Got it.
Not long at all. And then if I can't catch them, then they're going in the follow-up program. Okay, so back here's like the message, and I guess everybody gets these slides, Monica, or?
Well, that's one question is, can they have access to this? So are you willing to allow Espresso Agent to send this out to everybody?
Sure,
who's
absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Great. Then we'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. And so I won't go over this, but just a message, just an example of a message. If you don't have an assistant, how to put that on your phone.
Perfect.
Problems can wait that we talked about. You can control your schedule. Like, you can decide if you don't want to do an inspection at a certain time, you can say, I have an appointment. I mean, it's the same analogy. You're not going to schedule a buyer appointment when you have a listing appointment. And so you're not going to schedule another appointment when you have an appointment with yourself to prospect.
That's right.
Because where did all these come from in the first time? If you didn't lead generate, you weren't going to have any business at all. So to me, that's more important almost.
Yeah.
Or as important. They're all important that we want to do.
That's right.
Okay, you can control your schedule. Without a doubt, the more consistent an agent is with following a consistent schedule, the more successful they are. Reasons for that, I don't know. The consistency is absolutely the key. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to tell you why that is, because like say I'm off and I've gone to a seminar and I haven't prospected expired listings for 2 weeks and I come back on the scene, it's going to take me a while to get back in the groove. Mm-hmm. So the people that have teams and they continue on to prospect, and they can say to the team leader, or they can go back and say, this is what's happened with these people. That consistency is very critical with expireds.
I think it's the thing for everybody to write down on a piece of paper right now is that word, consistency. To me, it's the only thing that you will consistently hear from successful agents, that there is some level of consistency in something they're doing. It doesn't have to be calling expireds. That's what we're talking about today. But whatever you're doing, do it consistently, right? If you think of the movie Shawshank Redemption, did you ever see that movie? And the guy dug his way out of, I think, out of prison with a spoon. Like
that's consistency.
That's consistency, right? And think what can happen with that level of consistency.
That's a great point. Super point. And I've watched a young guy that's in my office that was on my team at one point. And now I don't know what he's on track for, like 250 deals or 300 deals.
Wow.
And he and his team, there's not a day that they don't get into the office at 7:00 every morning. They get in there. They do it every day.
Yep.
So
too many people are looking for the quick way out, and there just isn't one. This is it. All right. Cool.
There is. And then I always compare lead generation to working out. The more consistent you work out, that's when you're going to build a muscle. And if you do it sporadically, just like if you work expired sporadically, it ain't going to work for you, because you're going to have every excuse in the book why to quit.
Mm-hmm.
Really, all it takes is 2 or 3 listings or 1 listing really to make a significant per month to make a significant difference in your income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're calling every day and you get 2 listings, then that's going to, and your average sales point's 10,000, you're going to make 20,000 a month calling expired listings. And look how many times you're going to bat out. Mm-hmm. You're going to bat out a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. You got it. Is this a good time for a couple questions that have popped in?
Yeah.
I love that you guys are asking questions. Good job. How do you follow up, and what's that schedule? So you did touch a little bit on it, but can you give us like a highlight of what it feels like to be somebody you're trying to get in their house?
Well, yes. And Espresso is fabulous, right? Mm-hmm. So we can put any folders we want. So in my folder, I have new leads. So what happens is my assistant she'll go through the leads, and she'll put the new leads in my box, the new leads that I want, and the leads she'll weed out, or somebody that's an agent that's listing their own house, or anything that's obvious that I'm not going to want to call. So she'll put those in my schedule, and then I take a folder in Espresso, and then I put people that I have not reached. So that's one of my categories. People that I've reached and hotly, I call them hot leads, people that are going to list. They might not be listing in right away. We did some statistics on people. For the most part, unless they relist with the same agent, it takes them a little bit of time to relist. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about that last call too. So that you don't need to be so. There are some people that are going to list immediately, mm-hmm. with the first person that calls. There's always exemptions to everything. So, but what we found is that we put the ones that we haven't been able to reach in a category. Then we put the people that we are following, and we try to follow them as much as we can. So they say, okay, and we hear this now, this time of year, I'm going to put it back on in January. Or I'm going to wait till after the holidays. And after you go through the little holiday thing, well, let's, try to set an appointment even before the holidays. Well, great. Like, I'd love to come out and meet you, and let me see the home, and try to get out there. And, at that point, tell them why it's such a good time to list. But if not, we're going to follow them on into January. Okay. So we have that. And I will take things that need to be done from Espresso and put them in Anna, my assistant's folder, and, with something to do. Send postcard series or send expireds. And so what you can do if you don't have an assistant is put that in your follow-up program about what to do with folders. You can use it in the Espresso folder category.
So do you have a sweet spot for old expireds? Do you know where there's a spot where, gosh, once an expired is 3 months old, it's very unlikely they're coming back on, but that, 3-week mark is really good. Do you have any idea there?
I just, I'm bad because I've been doing it for so long that I don't give up so easily. So I had a lot of people that I've been following for 2 years.
Wow, that's dedication.
I've just made a big step because I love old expireds, especially when the market's going up, because you can tell them, when they had it on the market, if they had it on the market 2 years ago, they're now going to be able to get what they had it on the market and couldn't get before, or it's going to be better. So I love old expireds.
Nice.
Love them. But I don't have any statistics. I wish someone could tell me if they did or know where to get it, of how long it takes, to follow up. I mean, I've had all sorts of things where people will list after 2 years or after 4 months. So I just treat it like if they have any kind of interest, if they still want to sell in the future, then I keep them. And then the ones that, the old expireds that I have pulled up, I keep some of those for long, but I have also just eliminated some of those old ones.
Why do you think somebody would list with you after 2 years? That just seems like an eternity to be following up. Some might even call that stalking, Betty. Are you?
I don't call them every day. Now, I would call the new ones, I would call them the guy that I studied expireds from when I first started, and y'all have all heard this, I'm going to call them till they list or die. Yeah. And that was, I think it came from Andrew Lacey was the guy that originally said that. I think he probably got it from somebody else, but he would call them every day. So he would have a stack. This was when we didn't have Espresso. It took an assistant hours to get all this information for you, to look up the numbers and all that. And he would have it on his desk, and he would have it stacked up in a 30 pack. And he would go through and he would call every day. And they didn't answer. He'd leave a message every single day until they told him, Andrew, if you call me again, I'm calling the police, And he would list one expired every day. And he'd be on the phone recording a conversation. Somebody'd call in and say, okay, Andrew, I'm ready. So
that's awesome. That is consistency at its finest. I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, let's see. What else? Sending the postcard service. What does your follow-up drip plan look like? We've looked at that a little bit. How many times do you call? I think, guys, what I'm hearing you say, Betty, is it depends on what category the person is in. That will drive what you're doing next, right? So there's
our beginning, we have a series of 4 emails that go out, bomb, 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 bomb. I'm gonna stop one of them if they say, we're not relisting or something. I'm gonna stop those. Okay. But if I can't get hold of them, or even if I've gotten hold of them, I'm gonna send that 4 series out, and then we have some follow-up campaigns, and we're always changing things because we look at what works and what doesn't work. Yeah.
Great.
But again, nobody's calling me from my emails, and nobody's calling me. I've had several calls from text, or I've had several calls that say, oh, we admire what you're doing. But mainly, it's from the phone call that gets the result.
So we can't hide behind our computer and stalk people anymore. We must pick up the phone, right?
And you've heard this story, you go for an appointment, and in the corner are, stacks and stacks of letters and boxes, things that have come from other agents, and you're there because why? Because you called.
No doubt. And guys, for you guys listening and wondering sort of what is that drip campaign, really here's the message I think that to take is put something in place and do it consistently. The magic isn't in what she's doing. The magic is that she is doing it over time. It's Perfect. Not so much that the message on the postcard is some magical phrase. It's that she sent a postcard, and then she sent another, and then she called, and then she called, and then she sent another. It's that's magic. So I think you guys can find success in whatever you do, as long as you do it. Most people are calling once or twice, maybe, and then you're moving on. And that's where you're missing the opportunity. Fair?
Great point.
Okay.
Fabulous.
We're getting a lot of questions about your campaign, which is why I'm sort of circling.
Okay. Yeah. I'd be glad if you send my email, or out, and I could get Anna probably to send you a copy of the campaign.
Well, that'd be great. And we'll have Espresso Agent send that along with this PowerPoint.
Okay.
Right.
And I mean, basically, you're going to want to change it because it's like for my market with my stuff, you know, and so I put some personal things in there, but, you know, it'll give you the gist, but it's nothing magical.
Perfect. And guys, if you're in Betty's market, I think the fair play here is that you can't do that. I don't think we have anyone on here in your market, but let's be fair.
I don't even care. I did this. I was at a Tom Ferry event, and this lady did a listing presentation, and she said, you know, she didn't want it to get out to the people in her market, but, you know, and the young guy I was telling you about that is doing 300 deals, he doesn't care about sharing anything. And you know why? Because, right. He has a belief that nobody is going to do it like he does consistently.
Yep, not the truth. That's good. Do you go back into old expireds, like into the database of like really old expireds and pluck them out, or you're just still working them from when?
Just working them from when I've received them from Espresso. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay.
Sometimes if I'm like, for example, I had a very expensive buyer that was looking for an expensive property in a certain area. And so I went back and pulled all the expireds from that area. And then I sent them in to get the telephone numbers so I could call those people.
Awesome. Do you ever show up on anybody's doorstep?
I think it's a fabulous idea, and I've done it in the past, but no, not now.
Well, it's not the most efficient approach. I mean, it certainly is personal, but if you're busy like you are, it's not probably the most efficient way to do it.
Well, and also, you know, as I am doing more and more other things, I am not doing all the things that it would take to do what some of you are probably looking to do, like as far as volume.
Would you say it's fair if we've got some agents on the call that aren't that busy and or there aren't that many expireds, that would be a smart thing to lay in if you have the time?
I can remember like going on, knocking on the door of a $2 million property, and this was years ago when $2 million was unbelievable. And because I could not get the lady, and I loved the house, and I got her and got the listing.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. And there are isolated instances like that. It's not like I've done that a lot, but
right. You never know, right?
I mean, I think what's really good is if you can't get them on the phone, to go out there too. And, you know, you can do all sorts of things like take a picture of the house while you're there, or, you know, send with all the technology that we had. I was just, you know, sorry I missed you. I've been trying to call you. I came over to see if I could find you. I just love your house. You know, would love the opportunity to speak with you about how I can get it sold for you, So creativity about each one.
Do you ever stalk them on, I use that term lovingly, on Facebook to see if you have common friends?
I do.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to access maybe a little bit of a referral, or at least a warm lead in, right?
Yes, and I've gotten listings like that I've had asked them to be friends, and you know, so it's almost like they think they know you.
Yeah, right.
They've heard of you. Yeah. So.
I love that. All right, onward with your presentation.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
How long do we have? What's the time frame?
I don't know, what time is it? We've got until 3:00. It's 2:30 right now.
Okay. All right. Role play guidelines. And this is like, I am mentoring a couple of young agents that have just started in the business. And, you know, after 25 years of doing this, like I do a lot of scripts, but for the most part, I've been doing it for so long that I'm a natural with it. And my personality is sort of naturally that way. But everybody's not like that. You know, everybody is not like that. Like I just naturally, it could be that I've been doing it for so long that I do this, but I will naturally mirror someone. If they're talking slow, I'll start talking slow. If they're talking fast, I'll start talking fast. So that's why you need to role play. And then I see these two they can be great on the phone, but they can't carry it over. So they need a lot of different circumstances. Like over the years, if I've been doing it 25 years, you know, I've had every scenario that you can think of. They haven't had that. So like, they don't know what to say if, Like one of them tried to convince a real estate agent, kept trying to talk to that was a real estate agent to convince him to try to list the property. So, I just can't assume that everyone knows everything. And I think role play really helps you with that. And so these are just some of the guidelines. And this comes from my mastermind group with a lady that is in my mastermind group. And these are just how you really stay committed. Because the problem with role playing is you might have one committed person that shows up every time at schedule and the other one doesn't. And so this just says, you got the wrong partner. You have to have committed people that will follow through and really keep that commitment. Or switch, and set those expectations up from the front.
So this is really like, if you were trying to master a sport, this is your practice. I mean, I think people are weird about role play, but really, if this is something you want to master, this is your daily practice.
Exactly. And like it helps me even today to role play situations. Like in my coaching, we role play with, some problems we might have with a client. We role play solutions to that. Nice. And I'm thinking, I don't really, I thought I was doing the best. And then I hear from 5 other coaches, their perspective or how they would handle it. And I'm shocked, that and learn things and then go back to my client and will, learn from what I've learned with that role play. So it's just a really good thing to do.
Awesome.
But don't get into the like, oh, woe is me, competition, chatting, and that talks about all that in there.
Got it.
Okay. And there's more. Okay. Accountability. It is, that's why I'm a coach. I believe 100% in accountability. And I think that without accountability, there are rare people that can do things without the accountability. But I find for the most part of the people I coach, they need accountability. They need to know that somebody out there knows what they say they're going to do and is going to follow up with them on it. Okay? So it keeps you focused on what is important with less distractions. In other words, that your conversations and your lead generation time is very, very important. And that accountability partner keeps you focused on that. It increases your confidence because when you lose credibility with yourself, when you say you're going to do something and you continually don't do it. But it builds confidence for you to get into a habit like exercise. And I think I said this on the last call, or I say it 100 times, so I don't remember who I say it to. But I have had a coach that I work out with for 10 years. And if he goes on vacation or he doesn't say that this is the day, then I don't go to the gym after 10 years, And it's crazy, but and if he quit, then I would have to get somebody to help me go to the gym because I don't want to go to the gym.
Right.
Every morning I get up, I don't want to go to the gym. So it's not like in 10 years, you're going to love to prospect. Every morning I think, I really don't want to prospect. I'd rather go eat bagels.
Right.
That's awesome. So it's not accountability.
So it's refreshing to hear that even you, Betty Gales, after all these years, still have some self-talk issues that we all can relate to, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So what's your self-talk right
now? Even Tom Ferry says he has self-talk.
Really?
Even our heroes have self-talk, right?
It's called being human, right? So what are you struggling with? What are you challenged with?
Now is I don't want to be viewed as one of those people that are desperate for business and are calling and are unprofessional agents. So I go, I don't want to be where they, how could they possibly be so upset that they would cuss me out?
Right.
Why are they doing this? This is not right. And I coach some of the people that have that same mindset. If this is what I got to do, I'm not doing it. and then you go list something and you make $30,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how are you talking yourself out of that? I mean, what do you know to be true that you just need to remind yourself of?
I call it the nudge. And I talk to my clients all the time. It's the decision that you make when you get out of bed that you're going to get out of bed, you know, are you going to go back to sleep or are you going to get out of the bed? Mm-hmm. And it's just that little nudge in either the bad way or a good way.
Right.
It can go either way.
Have you read the book, The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins?
I love that. I know it.
Incredible book. And right in line with what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good to know you're human, so that's good.
Yeah. I've got it strong. The more a competition to get, and then I think I'll move to another town. That's like, I know it's not like this anywhere else.
That's us just running, and that doesn't ever work. So.
Exactly.
You gotta face the music.
What other thing do I say? Oh, I say, it's not fair. These young people that are coming in now, have all these teams and they're doing all this. It's not fair. I've been working for 30 years. It's not fair that they're coming in my territory. This is not fair.
Wow. It is refreshing to know that. But here's the difference, Betty. Here's the difference. You have all those thoughts and they're real to you and you have reason for thinking those, but they do not stop you from getting back on the horse and doing what you know to be part of your business success.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it is. And it's all, it's not the all or nothing, because I do tend to go there, like all or nothing. I want to be really great or, I'm not going to play the game. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that.
You're right. Wow. That's great.
Okay. All right. Where are we?
Accountability. Sorry.
Okay. So we're talking about the distraction, building confidence, building trust in yourself. When you say you're accountable, you're the owner of the problem. You're not looking to blame. Oh, it's Espresso. They didn't give me the good numbers. I'm going to quit because this is not right. Like all the excuses that we use for somebody else. But this doesn't work in my area. All of the things that we say so that we won't have to do what we know is the right thing to do. Or we even can be so devious with ourselves that we convince ourselves that it's not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So
if somebody
go ahead.
If somebody does this for 12 months straight, even 4 days a week, is there any chance that they would say this doesn't work?
No.
Exactly. Like there's just zero chance that they would say that at the end of that time.
Or, like I do coach people who will say the same thing about all these internet leads are not good. Mm-hmm. Well, they're the same internet leads that the person over here is making $1 million.
Right.
These internet leads are not good, but they're the same leads that somebody else who has the mindset, I'm going to work these leads, and probably 40 are not good, but 2 are.
Right. Got it.
And the same thing with expireds. There are lots that aren't good. We're just looking for a few nuggets, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so what is measured improves, and what is measured and reported back improves even more. And that's my my coaching mantra to my people. So I'm always having them measure what they do and report back, and it's a constant battle because they don't want to do that. So it's always doing that. And my coach did that with me as well, and it helps you not give up.
Okay, perfect.
And then I was telling you, it plain works. Me working out with Mac, my trainer for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are we?
That's amazing.
And we talked about the little voice. The accountability makes you do something that when the little voice says you don't want to do it, you do it anyway. Left to your own devices, if you don't have anybody to report back, it's so easy just to say, I'm going back to bed, I'm not prospecting, this is not it. And we talked about the nudge already.
Yeah. So obviously somebody could hire you to be their coach, and that's quite a high level of accountability. But if somebody didn't want to get into full-blown coaching or wasn't able to do so, what are some accountability tricks? Or are you getting there? I'm sorry.
Great. I'm going there. And that's
okay,
a great...
Cool.
Leads me right in. Thank you,
Perfect.
Monica.
Okay. Hey, looks like we've done this before, maybe.
So you can hire a coach. And I think one of the reasons why you don't want to hire it, it's also one of the reasons why you do want to hire a coach. Are you with me?
Yeah. I am.
So like, because when you have skin in the game, like when you go up to the bat and you hire a coach and you're paying money, you're not going to not come on the call. You're not going to not do what the coach says because you're paying for this. You're paying for this person to hold you accountable. So I think that's why it works so well, not just the coach so much, it's your commitment to the coach. So if you don't want to go that route, then you can set up a group of people in your office. You can set up people on this call that use Espresso, and you can do role playing, and you can do accountability. Like I have texting me every day, just like I did 10 conversations. I have a little Facebook accountability group where they post how many calls they did every day.
Great idea.
So that's a really good idea and free.
Yeah. And the office manager or the team leader or whatever you have in your scenario could also be somebody, right?
It helps to have somebody that you respect hold you accountable, like, or somebody that, if you're committed to them in a group too, or you feel like you don't want to have some, like the new person that's just started holding you accountable. Because you want to know that person is doing it themselves or has done it or has had some experience with it.
Right. These guys like Aaron Wittenstein and Greg McDaniels that do it live on Facebook, they say that it's 100% for accountability, that they do that because they want people to expect to see them on there dialing for dollars.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And, it's like Tom Ferry talks about, like, what's extreme accountability? So he's got, like, say 6,000 people at a seminar. Is he not going to show up?
Right. And they're there.
So you put yourself in a box so that you can't get out of it.
Exactly.
Like I could put myself in a box, like with my team, like if I tell them I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it because I don't want them to think that I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. How about this for you guys that have kids? Get your kids in on it because nobody's more tenacious than kids when you say, hey, kids, if mom or dad does this for 20 days straight, we're going to Disney World. You think those kids aren't going to ask you every day, did you do your, bring that. It doesn't have to be Disney World. It can be something a little bit more.
That's fabulous.
But yeah, get the kids involved.
And I think that might be, let's see, what else do we have? That's it.
Awesome. Now, somebody would like to know if we could do a quick role play. Would you mind?
Sure.
And how about we do I'll be the seller that wants to wait until the beginning of the year, because that's probably something people are finding a lot right now.
Okay. Ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Monica?
It is. Is this another damn agent?
Oh, I know. You must have been bombarded with calls this morning.
Seriously, this is annoying.
I can imagine it's annoying. Oh my goodness. Like, I have a quick question for you, Monica, and I won't keep you on the phone.
I'm not listing this house, Betty.
I understand you're not listing the house, right?
Right.
So you really don't want to sell it? Would you sell it if we had a buyer for you?
I do want to sell it. I just can't, I don't even know which ends up right now. It's the holidays, and you can just call me back at the beginning of the year.
I understand that. And I know with 100 people calling, I'd feel the same way. I would be furious to have all these people. Where are they when I have my house listed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, great. Well, I think that what happens when these people call, I've been doing this 25 plus years. So I think what happens is you'll get a lot of calls like this today and possibly throughout the week, and then they'll stop calling probably or call sporadically. But what I wanted to make sure, Monica, I want to make sure that you're still interested in selling it so I can follow up with you or bring a buyer if I had a buyer to your house. I don't want to bother you. I just want to make sure that if you're still interested in selling, that I'm here to help you.
Yeah, we do want to sell it. Like I said, we're tired right now, and we're just going to wait until after the holidays, and yeah.
I don't blame you. Well, during the holidays, if I had a buyer, would you consider letting me show it?
I don't know. We've got guests and whatnot. I guess it would just depend.
Okay, great. I tell you what, is it possible for me, I know you're not interested in listing it until the beginning of the year. I'm wondering if I could come over and just meet you and take a few seconds of your time to find out why it didn't sell.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. So like you're thinking you're just frustrated. You want to just have a break.
Yes.
Well, I don't blame you. And I tell you what, is it okay? And I don't even want to say that because I don't want to ask her if it's okay. I understand completely, Monica, how you feel. And I'm going to let you go. And I hope all these people will stop calling you, but I will follow up with you because it sounds like if you could find the right buyer, you still would sell.
Yeah, I think we would. Yeah, go ahead and call me after the holiday.
Okay, sounds great. And then I'm going to call her back. I'm going to call her back in a week.
Okay. Not after
And
the
then
holiday.
I'm going to send her stuff, too. I'm going to send her an email. It was nice. Since I talked to her, it'd be nice to send her a personal email and say, it was great to talk to you. I'm sorry everybody's been calling you. When all of that frenzy dies down, I'd love to have the opportunity to meet you and take a few minutes of your time to find out why your house didn't sell.
Mm-hmm. You know what I liked, and something to keep in mind, the only time you said anything about yourself was that you'd been in the business 25 years, which was just really subtle and sort of actually right then in my mind, I was like, okay, she's probably different. But you never once said, oh, I can do it different. I can sell. Do you know about how my team does this? And you never went there.
I'm the number one agent in Charleston, and I do things differently, Monica. So will you not get, and then they're like, whoa, that's why they're mad,
That's right. That's right. That's right. So good. That was great.
Remember the lady I was telling you that I sat next to that did 32 deals or expired? She said, they don't want to hear that you're number one.
No. Mm-mm. No, because if you're so good, you should have brought a buyer through the whole process that she was on for 6 months.
So I think that what I do is I do follow some scripts, but what I really do is I just listen and mirror and match what Monica was saying and then repeat back what she's saying. And then sometimes I can't if I can't, you saw when she let up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm really good. I'm a good sensor, like silence. I can tell when the silence is there. So I'm able to see when somebody's getting ready to let me in. But if they're not going to let me in, then I'm going to get off the phone because I don't want to push them too far.
I imagine you're good at that is because you have role played these scripts, even though it doesn't sound like a script, it is a script to you, and you know them like the back of your hand so that you're able to listen for those nuances in my voice.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And I see that in the people that I coach, the young people that have just started, they're so concerned about what they say that they don't listen. And now I'm just totally trying to get, why is Monica, what happened? Did 10 people call her? What happened? Does she still want to sell? I want to know what's going on with her.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That makes sense. A quick question about how you categorize your folders. You mentioned that you put people into sort of categories. Can you give us a few of the folder names that you use? Or
yeah, sure. So like I have my leads that come in like the first day. So I forgot what we call them, new leads. I think Betty's new leads.
Okay.
And so they come in, and so my job is to take that folder and empty it. So to call everybody, and that doesn't take very long. Sometimes I don't do it at the end of the month. If I can't get to it, I don't empty the folder, but usually I can go through there and call everybody that first day that it comes off. So then the second folder would be if I reach the person and I made some kind of connection with them, or I found out that they still want to sell, that's a hot lead.
A hot lead, okay.
And that's a hot lead folder. And sometimes before it goes in my hot lead folder, I'll send it over to Anna, my assistant, and I'll say Anna's follow-up, and I'll put it in her folder, and I'll put in there, send 8 postcards, and put back in my folder.
So maybe that would be a next step folder for everyone. Like there is a next step to do. Okay.
Right. And so I might say to her, and then put back in, you know, I'm lucky because I have all this help. So then put back in my folder, I want to follow back up with that person December 15th. Put back in my folder December 15th.
Got it.
You know, so she'll put back in my hot leads December 15th. And then I don't have to be bogged down all the time thinking about it.
Okay.
So that when I go to my folders, everything is all organized. And I'm not typically an organized person.
So it sounds like you do a pretty good job. If it's not a hot lead, then it's a next step, meaning you're nurturing it. It's a warm lead. Okay.
Right.
Or cold.
And then
or whatever.
for the most part, the folder that has the most people in it is people that I called and did not reach.
Okay. So, but you wouldn't have categorized them as a next, because you didn't reach them, you don't know whether they're hot or cold or whatever.
Right. Like before Anna puts them in my box, she'll set them up on they get a video text and they get an email series. All of those people get that before they go to me. I'll just send something back to her if it's something different.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
And then, so then they're going into the reached, but or could not reach. And then, you know, I'll follow up with those people 6 or 7 times, and then I'll send them off to somebody else on my team, or we'll put them in a more sporadic follow-up.
Excellent. Do you use a service for your postcards, or you just have your team generating those?
I don't send out a bunch of them. I'm real selective. So my team does it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. We're heading up on 3 o'clock, and we need to honor your time because you've been so incredibly gracious to join us and give us some of these little beautiful nuggets. That's the thing with these hours that we have. There are always 1 or 2 or 3 nuggets that I think you can take away and implement into your business, right?
I'll tell you, it's much easier to have you talk with, because you know, when you're talking to a blank screen, it's hard. So thank you for being there.
It's hard with no feedback. And that's why these guys were great. Lots of chatting going on. And there were lots of questions. A lot of them were the same. So I was able to leverage through just asking it once. But we had some great participation. And I want to thank you all for being on the group. We had we had 44 people on this call. And that's a good solid show up, Miss Betty. People want to see more of you.
Enjoyed it.
And
so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, in case you missed it, this webinar, the taping of this can be seen on Espresso Agent's YouTube channel. And then I will have Eden or Jen, somebody coordinate with Betty's team on getting you this PowerPoint. And there was something else we were going to have them. Oh,
the email for some of the drips.
Your drip campaign, like what that just generally speaking, what that looks like. I think, guys, it's not as important as what she's doing, is that she's doing something. And I think you guys can all come up with some sort of 6-month plan for those people, or longer, it seems. All right, Betty, thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, see you guys. Have a great day.